Hi everyone, how's it going? Long day, huh? Anyway, yeah, welcome to the Hitchhiker's Guide to Startup Survival, juggling fundraising, fatherhood, and fixing up a new home for 15 months. Well, not losing your fucking mind. That's something that TechChill left out. Anyway, what do we do? Hyperjob, just to give you an idea, right? We help companies get 6 times more candidates in half the time. How do we do it? By basically saying recruitment needs a marketing makeover, right? Job market has changed a lot. So, for example, if you look at the way we market products, like this is the actual website of Audi A4 in 1986. This is the website today, but job marketing really hasn't changed from 96 to today. So instead of that, we have built a tool that gives you a power to create awesome job microsites, and then you can do them in 30 minutes and send them out to candidates and get this 600% higher conversion rate. But sorry, I'm getting into this habit of pitching again. You know, you sometimes pitch so a lot that it's kind of like heroin, right? It's kind of hard to break the habit. The long story short, we just finished the funding raise, right? 435K, almost €500,000. You know, we had a great PR campaign, awesome photo shoot. I mean, if this isn't cool, I don't know what is. We had a lot of fun doing it. But if I look back at the past year, I have only 4 letters that I can describe my experience with, and that is pre-seed traumatic stress disorder. And I'll share you basically a session of self-therapy right now, and thank you for taking part. Expectations were simple, right? Quick adventure, in and out, 3 months, fundraise, right? We got Antler investment in January 2022. The demo day is set for March. I'm going into full-on fundraising mode. I'm going to be fundraising. You know, my co-founders, yours right there, is going to do sales. The other one is going to do product. In the meantime, in my life, my wife is pregnant, and we're expecting our first kid to be born around April. But that's fine, right? We're living in a rental unit because our apartment is under complete renovation, but that's going to be done by March. That's also fine. It's a very simple plan, right? Kind of start fundraising, go to Stockholm, get the money, move in, have a baby, finish fundraise, enjoy some time with the family, and then come back to work, right? Simple. Perfect. What could go wrong, right? Plus, I gotta say, it's not like I wasn't prepared, right? I know fundraising is a serious issue, takes some time. So we were, you know, I was ready. I had warm intros, I had advisors, I had cold email outreach lists, I had cold sort of investor databases, mail merge accounts, like you name it. I mean, I was kind of like this guy, honestly. Armed to the teeth. Then, of course, the reality sets in. Life is what happens while you're making plans. First off, we start fundraising in February. 2 weeks later, Russia invades Ukraine. So we're kind of paralyzed. We're sitting in our office being like, should we fundraise? Should we build a bomb shelter? I don't even know, right? And investors somehow also start getting back to us saying, you know, we need to reevaluate the reality now and what's going on. We need some time to think. So understandable, sure, whatever. But, you know, somehow we just keep going on. And then, of course, the next thing comes is the end of March. It's Antler's demo day, straight up in the heart of Stockholm, lots of investors. 3 days before the event, my wife says, my water just broke. We're going to the hospital. And I was saying, all right, you guys, you go to Stockholm, you pitch. So while these guys are busy pitching investors and schmoozing with Antler in Stockholm, I'm busy schmoozing with this little dude here in Riga. But first lesson, though, I really, really appreciate my co-founders. They did a stellar job, and I was 100% confident they would. It's just like a little funny hiccup. Obviously, this would have to happen. But anyway, you know, we don't give up. We keep going to events, TechChill, Latitude, keep pitching and pitching. And just the issue is it's not clicking. It's not kind of working, right? We check the boxes. Even like this is the actual slide. We say we check the boxes. If you think about this, like I've run a recruitment agency before. We worked together for a long time. The product works. We have A/B tests showing like great results. Yet we're not really getting the message through to investors. Somehow it's just not clicking. And the same thing is actually happening with sales. Like we are talking to the customer prospects and they just kind of don't get what we do. But, you know, you got to just keep on pushing, right? Then May comes And we're as far as from our 400K goal as I don't know Uber is from profitability, and it's just it's not really doing much. So yeah, again, more events, more like karaoke, like we did yesterday. Um, yeah, just and then the summer comes around, and it's kind of getting almost, I want to say, to a breaking point. We haven't really gotten much out there. Personally, I've been living in an IKEA catalog because we just moved in with a baby, like literally a week-old baby in our hands. Um, I've been trying to reassemble furniture and just kind of have like a normal life while my wife is trying not to go crazy with the sleepless nights and everything. So yeah, it's just super fun. But at the same time, personally, I don't feel like I can actually take a step back and relax because, well, yeah, we're like approaching the precipice very quickly. And taking a break means like, yeah, you can't really relax when you're on a tightrope, right? You have to keep going. But yeah, nothing really changes in like, I want to say around June, I just say, F it, I'm going to take a break. Because I'm getting things like sleepless nights, jumpy behavior. I'm kind of like turning into some sort of like a fundraising werewolf. I don't like myself. I don't recognize myself. And I say, F it, I'm going to take a break. Change the laptop to a fishing rod and just really hope that the fish are more responsive than the investors. And then there is actually some sort of a breaking point. Well, at first we do run out of money, right? In July, exactly as planned, we have a great CFO. He told us this is going to happen. It does. Not the entire company, but obviously our salaries as founders. We run out of money first, right? Whatever, keep going. Survivor mode. This guy, improvise, adapt, overcome. Start getting some consulting gigs, like some, little whatever we can do to scrape things together and just keep on going because there's really, not much else we can do. And then there comes a bit of a turning point, right? I start the investor pipeline is starting to run a bit dry because I've been working with it for a whole time, right? And then I decide, hey, there are a bunch of events happening in Europe, like the Pirate Summit and How to Web conference in Bucharest. Also TechChill Milano. And I say, you know what, let's try this, right? If I can get on the stage and do these pitch events, it's worth going, right? And as I'm preparing for the Pirate Summit, I say, listen, the way we were pitching before, we got to go back to the basics. We got to really, really rethink. Something starts to click in my mind. It's this kind of like subconscious feeling or voice that tells me, listen, throw out the old pitch, start anew, start fresh, do some more research, and the breaking point happens where I'm researching that goddamn competition slide. Like I cannot be, like I'm not able to nail it before. And I'm researching and I see there's a company that just raised 26 million euros. And the way they're describing the talent market is exactly the way I would describe it, right? Talent shortage, everything is changing, what kind of tools you need, da, da, da. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, if these guys can raise 20 mil on this, at least I'm not fucking crazy. Like, there is some truth to it. So we go back to the basics, rewrite the pitch, and I end up pitching at the Pirate Summit in Cologne, get to the top 5. We go to Bucharest, but it's awesome event, by the way. We go to Bucharest, to How to Web, also top 20, Milan, something like top 10 or something. But you see that this new pitch is working, finally. The jury actually asks you questions that actually make sense. And during these events, I'm running around Europe like some sort of a traveling vacuum sales guy. But we do end up meeting with the investors, in one event, the other one, having a chat. And then finally, yes, around September, October, the lead investor, Boris from Smok, says, let's tie the knot. Here's an offer. It's a reasonable one. The next event, we get Davis from Printful, an angel investor, introduces to another one. It finally starts to fall into place. Light at the end of the tunnel. That'll be quick, right? But for the next 3 months, I'm enjoying the legal aspect of fundraising. We have signed 7 convertibles. All of them need to be converted. It only takes 3 months because I need to huddle or sort of like herd the cats. And finally, in January, we get the money in our account. And it couldn't come a second too soon, because if I remember correctly, for the amount of money we had in the account, I don't think I would be able to afford a TechChill ticket at that point. It was literally at the last moment. Yeah, so ever since January, we've been dealing with such fun stuff as trying to get the shares registered in the Latvian commercial registry. Apostilles from Delaware and some notarized documents from Estonia. My lawyer keeps saying it's gonna take just 1 week for the past 8 weeks, but hopefully this week, for real, honestly. Hopefully we'll be done. Yeah, so good stuff. finally, it's a much better feeling. I wanted to share some sort of like lessons that I think I've conceptualized over these amazing 12 months. So the way I think about this, there are things you can control and there are things you cannot, right? And you should plan well. I think that was my first mistake. I had read that fundraising can take up to 12 months. Of course, it wouldn't apply to me, right? I can just go in 3 months and be done. It's kind of like, expecting to go to the gym for a week and come out like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? That just doesn't work like that. But for the second part is you do control the input. So I'm going to be your favorite motivational speaker. No matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. Right? Love it. Not cliche at all. I kept on working all the time. Like, if there's only thing I can do, I can just keep generating pipeline, and actually saved our mind a little bit, because even as we were struggling with everything, there was always somebody at the end of the pipeline. I kept pushing more and more investors, and there's always some sort of a light, like maybe these guys will say yes, right? So it just keeps you going. It's easy, right? And that's the only thing you can do, honestly. You cannot control anything else. But then again, I think also that what happened around that July and August, if something doesn't work, freaking stop, pause, reflect, and change tack. Because I think if we continue just beat our heads in the wall, I don't think we would be there where we needed to. So those are the things you can control. You don't control things like, your baby being born, and you can't really tell the dudes like, hey, can you wait, like daddy has to do a pitch. Just hold up for a couple of days. I also felt that this is really crucial. You need to give your brain time to figure things out. It took 3 months of pitching and having feedback and getting some no's and weird questions, everything else, so that the brain would say, like, I think I figured this out. This is how you pitch. And in my mind, it's never the deck that is wrong. It's your brain. I feel like your deck is a reflection of how you think about things. So when everything clicked up here, the deck started to click as well. So, yeah. But of course, you will never figure it out on your own. It's painful to hear stupid questions from VCs. It's painful to hear all the doubt and like, I don't know, I'm not too sure what you guys are doing, da da da. But unless you get that feedback, you will never be like, your brain will not have the food to process and actually give you some answers. So just go out there, right? And if they don't get you, it's never about them. It's only about you. There are no stupid VCs or stupid customers, right? It's just you trying to figure stuff out. So if you don't speak their language, it's your fault, right? They don't understand you. Be opportunistic. None of the events, like when we started fundraising, the events were not in our strategy. No, not a single one of them. The Pirate Summit just popped up on my newsfeed. Same thing happened with both TechChill Milano and How to Web in Romania. But actually, that's where a lot of the magic happened. It forced us to reevaluate the pitch. We met with the investors. So yeah, be opportunistic. And question common wisdom. When we started fundraising, you read a lot about like, don't get too many small tickets, right? Well, our minimum was 5K. We did get up like 5 small investors. And you know what? During this long fundraise, that money was a lifesaver. So yeah, it's not always just, you have to be super stubborn about common wisdom. Know what the hell you're doing. At the same time, my advice to my past self would be, dude, if you sign a convertible, you better know what the hell you're signing, because they kind of seem like a magic document. You sign something and then next morning you have like cold hard cash in your account. Great. But then, as I said, it took us like 3 months to convert them. So because of some, we needed to learn how to do it in the end. And in terms of investors, what I saw in our experience is you have to find the right fit. A lot of investors, pre-seed investors who are in our region will say that we really care about the founders. It's really the person we invest in. But out of the 100 or so investors I talked to, I want to say 5 asked us personally, guys, why do you do what you do? And 3 out of those actually ended up investing in us. So I think that was the good fit, right? And finally, to leave you, my personal lesson in all this, like how not to lose your fucking mind. There's no such thing as a work-life balance. So I realize now, when I was at the very, very sort of depth of my state around, that the whole process, is that I had put a lot of my life on pause, right? I had basically deprioritized. We would assemble furniture later. I would get my phone fixed later. We would travel later, get a bake later. Everything happens after the fundraise. This is just something that is not happening right now. And it makes you kind of go crazy, right? You cannot put your life on a pause. And that's why I was getting into this like really bad mental state. There's only one life, and work happens together with life. So I've really learned that now. And right after I got out of this thing, we're actually doing a lot of stuff more at home, and just it is really, really a life changer. So yeah, to wrap up, now that we have figured everything out, obviously, if you want to come talk to me about need fundraising advice, if you need advice on how to get more candidates, we actually know how to do that, or just more war stories, reach out. I'm Jānis from Hyperjob, and thank you for listening.